Objective, solving inequalities. Vic number 1, you solve inequalities the same way you solve equations. Then you graph them on a number line. So oftentimes the problem will say, now graph your solution. Vic number 2, when multiplying or dividing by a negative, you must flip the inequality sign. Example number 1, w plus 4 is less than or equal to 9. So just treat it as though this was an actual equal sign. We would subtract 4 from both sides. The 4's would cancel. And 9 minus 4 gives us 5. Carry down the inequality sign. So w is less than or equal to 5. Now because I have the equal to bar on this sign, I know I'm going to have a closed circle at 5. Less than means shade all of the numbers that are less than 5. Example number 2. Negative 2 is less than or equal to 4 minus a. So again, treat it as though it's an equal sign. Subtract 4 from both sides. These 4's will cancel. Negative a comes down. Negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. And I have this negative in front of a that I need to get rid of. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 because it's a negative 1a. So divide both sides by negative 1. And right here you see the word flip. I must flip this inequality because I divided by a negative. So this gives me negative over negative is a positive 6. Flip the inequality. Negative a divided by negative 1 is just positive a. And I can rewrite this so that when my variable is on the left side, this will help me when I'm graphing. So I'm going to shade everything that is less than or equal to 6. So at 6, put a closed circle because I have an equal to part, and then shade less than 6. So everything on the left side of 6 on the number line. Example number 3, 5n greater than negative 25. Divide both sides by 5. Now we have n by itself. Carry down the inequality sign. Negative 25 divided by 5 is negative 5. Now on this one, you don't flip because I divided by a positive 5. Although my answer was negative and the number I was dividing was negative, I divided by a positive. You only flip when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative. So negative 5 on the number line and everything greater than it. No equal to bar, so I have an open circle. Example number 4. 3/4 b greater than or equal to negative 9 divided by 8. Negative 9/8. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3/4. The reciprocal means to flip the fraction. So multiply both sides by 4 over 3. So 3/4 times 4/3 gives me 1. 1 times b is b. Negative 9/8 times 4/3. So when you're multiplying two fractions, you multiply the tops. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. And 8 times 3 is 24. Now this fraction can be reduced to negative 3 over 2, or you can type it in and get a decimal, negative 1.5. So I have b is greater than or equal to negative 3/2, or if you wrote the decimal, b is greater than or equal to negative 1.5. So you'll draw a number line, and here negative 1.5 is between the two integers, negative 1 and negative 2, about halfway. There's an equal to bar, so I have a closed circle, and everything greater than, so to the right, everything greater than negative 1.5. Example number 5. Negative 3n plus 4 is less than or equal to 16. So solve it like you would a regular equation. Subtract 4 from both sides. The 4's cancel. 16 minus 4 is 12. So carry down the negative 3n. Negative 3n is less than or equal to 12. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. Again, I divided by a negative number, so I must flip the inequality. Instead of being less than or equal to, now it's greater than or equal to. 12 divided by negative 3, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So n is greater than or equal to negative 4. Graph your solution. Negative 4 on the number line, Close circle because I have an equal to part, and shade everything greater than, so to the right. Example number 6. Now these are multi-step, okay? Multi-step equations. We're going to treat them as though they are regular equations and solve them like usual. So I have 2 outside of this set of parentheses, which means I must distribute. So 2 times x, 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. Carry down the negative 3x. Combine like terms. 2x minus 3x is negative 1x. Carry down the plus 4. The inequality sign has not changed. Carry it down. And now I want to get x by itself. So I need to get rid of the plus 4, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. These 4's will cancel. Negative 1x is greater than 1. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. And I still don't have x by itself. I need to get rid of the negative 1 in front, so I'm going to divide by a negative 1. Remember, when you're multiplying or dividing by a negative, you must flip the inequality sign. So instead of greater than, it becomes less than. Negative 5 divided by negative 1, negative over a negative is a positive, and these negative 1's will cancel out. So x is less than 5. Go to your number line, put 5 on your number line, put a couple numbers less than 5 and a couple numbers greater than 5. And shade. Now we're going to have an open circle at 5 because I don't have an equal to. And shade everything less than. So shade to the left on this one. All right, example number 7. P to the 4p plus 2 times the quantity p plus 7 is less than 8. So again, I have to distribute first. 2 times p gives me 2p, and 2 times 7 is 14. Carry down this 4p and the plus. Combine like terms. 4p plus 2p is 6p. Bring down the rest. Subtract 14 from both sides. Those will cancel. 6p is less than 8 minus 14 is negative 6. To get rid of the 6 in front of the p, divide both sides by 6. This 6 is canceled. I do not flip the inequality sign because I divided by a positive 6. Negative 6 divided by positive 6 is 1. Negative 1. Positive over or negative over a positive is a negative. So p is less than negative 1. Mark negative 1 on your number line and put some numbers less than negative 1, like negative 2, negative 3, and some numbers bigger than negative 1, like 0, 1, 2, 3. You just want to be able to see where negative 1 is on the number line. An open circle because I don't have an equal to bar. And less than, so everything to the left, less than. Here are 6 practice problems. 6z minus 15 is less than 4z plus 11. So if this were an equal sign, I would have all the z's on one side and all the numbers on the other side. So I'm going to move everything that has a z in it to the left side. So I'm going to subtract 4z from both sides. So 6z minus 4z is 2z. These cancel, and I have less than 11. I need to get rid of the minus 15, so I'm going to add 15 to both sides. These 15s cancel. Negative 2z is less than 11 plus 15 is 26. Divide both sides by 2. The 2's cancel. And z is less than 13. 26 divided by 2 is 13. Mark 13 on your number line. a couple numbers less than 13, a couple numbers bigger than 13, an open circle at 13, because I don't have an equal to bar, and less than, so shade to the left. Number 2, 3b plus 12 is greater than 12 minus 2b. Move everything with b to one side, so I'm going to add 2b to both sides. To 3b plus 2b is 5b. Carry down the plus 12 and the rest. Get b by itself, so subtract 12 from both sides. I have 5b over here. 12 minus 12 is 0. I still don't have b by itself. I have to divide by 5. Divide by 5. The 5's cancel. b is greater than 0 divided by 5 is 0. It's okay to have an answer that's 0. So we're going to put 0 on our number line, a couple numbers less than 0, a couple numbers greater than 0, an open circle at 0 because I don't have the equal to bar, and greater than, so everything bigger than 0. Number 3, negative 4x minus 2 is less than 8. Add 2 to both sides. Draw my lines to keep it separate. Add 2 to both sides. The 2's cancel. Negative 4x is less than 10. 8 plus 2 gives me 10. Divide both sides by negative 4 to get x by itself. Dividing by a negative means I have to flip the inequality, so now it becomes greater than. 10 divided by negative 4 can be reduced to negative 5 halves, negative 5 over 2. And if you change this to a decimal, it makes it a little bit easier to know where to graph it. So negative 5 divided by 2 is negative 2.5. So I know it's going to be between negative 2 and negative 3 on my number line. So negative 3, negative 2, put a couple more numbers. Negative 2.5, so it's going to be about halfway. And I'm going to have an open circle because I don't have an equal to bar. And everything greater than, so to the right. Example number 4. I have to distribute on both sides of this equation because I have a number outside of a set of parentheses. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. Negative 3 times negative m is positive 3m. 4 times 2m is 8m. 4 times 1 is 4. I need everything with m on one side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 8m from both sides. Now I have 4 over here. 3m minus 8m is negative 5m. And I still have that minus 12. I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So I have 12 plus 4 is 16. These 12s cancel. Negative 5m carries down. Divide both sides by negative 5. Again, I divided by a negative, so you must flip the sign. Instead of greater than or equal to, it becomes less than or equal to. The negative 5's cancel. M is now by itself. 16 divided by negative 5. And if you want to change this over to a decimal, you can type it in your calculator. And you get negative 3.2. So I know it's going to be between negative 3 and negative 4, and I can mark that on my number line. So it's going to be closer to negative 3 than it is to negative 4. There will be a closed circle because I have the equal to bar here. And I'm going to shade everything less than. It says M is less than negative 3.2. All right, number 5. 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times 7 is 14. Keep the sign. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8x. 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x. Get all of your variables, all of your x's on one side of the equation. Add 8x to both sides. 6x plus 8x is 14x. And I have 28 on the right. Subtract 14 from both sides. Remember, our goal is to get x by itself. 14's cancel. So 14x is greater than 28 minus 14 is 14. Divide both sides by 14 to get x by itself. So x is greater than 1. 14 divided by 14 is 1. Mark 1 on your number line. A couple numbers bigger, a couple numbers smaller. An open circle at 1, and shade everything to the right. Greater than 1. And our last example. So I have 4 times c, 4c. 4 times negative 1, negative 4. Carry down the 5c and the plus. This is greater than or equal to. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times c is 5c. Carry down the 2 and the plus. I have some like terms that I can combine before I start moving things around. So I have 5c plus 4c, that's 9c. 2 plus 10 is 12. So I just combined like terms. Now I want everything with c on one side and everything with just a number or a constant on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 5c from both sides. 9c minus 5c is 4c. Now I need to add this 4 to both sides. Those cancel. 4c is greater than or equal to 16. To get rid of the 4 times the c, you divide. And c is greater than or equal to 4. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. Put 4 on your number line. A couple numbers bigger, a couple numbers smaller. A closed circle at 4, because I have this equal to bar, so a closed circle, and shade everything greater than 5, 6, 7. Those are all bigger than 4.